There are three types of what they call karmic results. Three types of karmic results. The first one is what they call the ripened results. So if you do negative things like this, or positive things, either one, there are what they call ripened consequences. The ripened consequences means what kind of life are you going to have next life. Ripened consequence just means that. They call it throwing karma. Throwing karma. What kind of life you're going to have. How did you get a life as a human being as opposed to, Fido, who has a life of a dog? How did that happen? You see, it's karma. It's karma. Everything is coming from karma. So that's the first one. For negative karma, they say that there are three different ripened consequences, ripened results. You can have a ripened result in a hell realm. You can go to hell, have a hell realm. And nobody believes in hell. They all like, oh yeah, that's all from the Middle Ages or something like that. But we have some experience even in this life, which is not a hell realm. In no matter how bad it is, it's not a hell realm. But we have some little inkling. Like, if you were like 7 or 8 years ago, 6 years ago now maybe, 5, 6 years ago, sitting one day in a cafe in Baghdad, sipping espresso, and then within seconds, the whole place is on fire because a bomb has just fell on you. You see? All of a sudden, karma shifted radically for you. See? And the life that you were once leading is completely different now. We had this experience in LA in 1992, the Northridge earthquake, right? And everyone's like sitting around sleeping at 4:30 in the morning. And then all of a sudden, boom, everything's changed. People were driving down the highways, leading their ordinary lives, and then boom, the highway opens up and their car goes in it, see? It can happen just like that, boom. See, and so we have some experience of how this kind of life could change radically in just a matter of seconds. So think about that when you're thinking of trying to get some belief in something like a hell realm. Think about how there are sort of tastes of hell realms even in this life. Very, 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 very quickly can happen. Then they say another kind of ripened result, a medium, that's the extreme version of a ripened result. That's very bad karma, okay? An extreme version of one of these 10 misdeeds will bring you that kind of realm. Then they say another one, craving spirits, the ghosts that we talked about last night. Beings who just can't be satisfied no matter what. They're sort of like us, actually. Just can't be satisfied no matter how many consumer goods they get, can't be satisfied. And then that's for medium. And then for lesser instances, animal birth. Animal birth. All right, so that's the ripening results, is a lower rebirth. Then they have what they call consistent consequences. Consistent consequences. This is classical version of karma. Classical version of karma means you will experience something similar to the thing that you did. That's why it's called consistent. And there's two versions of consistent. We'll go through the first version in a minute. The first version is the specific kinds of things that can occur to you for doing the specific kinds of misdeeds that we've gone through. Then there's another one that's also categorized. There's two kinds of consistent results. The other kind of consistent result is you're likely to do it again. You have a proclivity in the future for doing it again. So karma is like habit in a way. The more you kill, the more likely you are to kill. The more you steal, the more interested you are, the more drawn you are to killing. You see? And there are people, people in this room who have children know that kids come out with these kinds of proclivities. They're not blank slates, Kids have personalities from a very early age. You can see their personalities. And they're drawn to certain kinds of activities. And that's because of the consistency of the karma. The karma that they have created in the past, makes them the kind of person that they are, coming out in this life, you see. So that's the other kind. And in a way it's kind of, it's depressing in a way, because, once you're on a downward cycle, it's really hard to break that. It's hard to break that downward cycle. Once you get in, have this kind of consistent karma recurring over and over and over again, where you're just attracted to doing it more and more and more of it. How do you get out of a cycle like that? The answer to that question is that you come to a class like this and hear that there is such a thing like that. And you go like, wow, do I have any version of that in my life? And then you start paying attention and you say like, well, I need to break that cycle. You know, next time I'm drawn to like lying because I always have lied in the past, I need to be aware of that and break it. Start to learn to break it. Rehabituate yourself. You see? So, so that's the second kind. Here's the first kind. Consistent consequences for each of the 10. For each of the 10. So we'll start with killing. If you commit the karma of killing, you will have a short life. That's the karma. That's one of the 2 karmas for killing. Your lifespan will be short. And then secondly, you'll get sick easily. All sickness comes from hurting the bodies of others. All sickness comes. So if you're a kind of person that's always coming down with the sniffles or always coming down with, you know, some sickness or another, be very, very careful about killing in your life, because that's the karma of it. See, that's where it came from. The consistent consequences of stealing. You don't have enough to live on. You're short. You're always coming out short. You see, always like don't have enough to no money at the end of the month to pay the bills, like that. And there are people like this too. There are people. Maybe you are one or have experienced it. I certainly did. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much income you get, you still don't have enough. So that's the karma. That's karma. It's like it's not the dollar amount. You know, it's the perception of not having enough that comes from the stealing. And then secondly, what you do have, you have to share with others. Forcibly have to share with others. So like, you know, maybe you have enough good karma to have a car, but because of stealing, you have to share it with 5 other people. You see? So you don't really have, you know, complete ownership over it. So that's the second kind of karma for stealing. Sexual misconduct. The people around you will be unfaithful. All unfaithfulness comes from this. You know, all experience of unfaithfulness comes from this. They will be inconsistent, which means unreliable. And then secondly, you'll find a lot of competition for your partner. Everyone else will be hitting on your boyfriend or girlfriend all the time. Okay? That's from sexual misconduct. 4 is lying, right? This is the boy cried wolf syndrome. You know that story? The boy who cried wolf. There wasn't any wolf. He cried wolf, and it got everyone upset. And then and then he cried wolf again, and everyone came running, and there was no wolf. And then the 3rd time there was a wolf, and nobody believed him anymore. And that's from lying. See, the consequence of lying is nobody believes you. And maybe you've seen this in action. Okay, like there are people who, no matter what, you know, it's just they seem so untrustworthy. No matter what they're saying, they just seem like, you know, I don't really believe it. And that's coming from that karma. There's a kind of an aura. There's a kind of a karmic aura that surrounds people who have lied quite a bit in the past. That you just don't trust them somehow. You know? They're snaky. They're a little snaky. Right? Like that perception. I just don't trust them. Couldn't trust them as far as you could throw them. You know that expression? Right? Okay? Like that. And then others are always deceiving you. Others are always lying to you. So, you know, you wonder why, for example, you call a plumber, and the plumber charges you 6 times the amount that the plumbers usually, you know, charge you for the same job. That's from lying. That's from lying. They're deceiving you because you've deceived others in the past. We were in New York recently, and my teacher was telling the story of getting into a cab and having the cab driver like take them on this wild magical mystery tour around Manhattan, just like jacking up the fare enormously, you know. And that's from that karma. That's from that karma. People will try and cheat you, see. So it comes from lying.